Wow, Floyd Mayweather, easy work, I ain't gotta worry about it. Floyd Mayweather admits he's gonna phone up Errol Spence and give him the, like I said before, the blueprint to beat Manny Pacquiao, who he's a hell of a fighter. And I'm gonna talk about all that and more in this video. Stay tuned.
Manny's fighting Errol Spence. I know you had Errol in camp to help you spar for Manny when you guys fought. What do you make of that matchup, Manny at 42 fighting Errol?
I wish them nothing but the best, both guys.
But what do you make of the fight? You've been in there with Errol. You've been in there with Manny.
I just wish them both of the guys nothing but the best. Of course, I'm behind Errol Spence 100%. I'm behind my people first, always. So of course I want to see Errol Spence win. And actually, I'm gonna call him and give him some pointers.
What would you tell him?
I ain't gonna tell you. I'm not gonna reveal it to you. Then I'll be telling my strategy.
We've seen.
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Easy work. Speaking of easy work, if you want to make your life easier, consider clicking the link in the description to getting TUBEBUDDY. TUBEBUDDY is an awesome browser extension. I've used it heavily for years. I continue to use it to produce videos such as this one. TUBEBUDDY is a great way as a YouTuber. It's the #1 YouTube tool. Great way to make more money on the platform by optimizing your content, getting you ready for the big league so you can make money on this platform like yours truly. Consider TUBEBUDDY best tool for optimizing content, increasing your searchability and discoverability, in turn making you more moolah. Let's get it. Now, you guys heard the clip at the beginning. Floyd Mayweather, it's fight week. He will be fighting Logan Paul on a Sunday fight. You see him going through the sequences with GT. I mean, he's making it look effortless. He doesn't look a day over 40. You know, he looks very youthful. He got the hair back. And he lets the world know that he's going to reach out personally. He kept, see, and listen, before I get into what Floyd, you heard what he said because I let you listen to the clip. But let's talk about this. The interviewer, you notice the interviewers be trying to bait the fighter. And when they can't get almost the reaction that they want, they try to pry. And I think that's just a weird thing, especially for a guy like Floyd Mayweather, easy work, because he's just been in the boxing game for so long. He knows how it goes, and he knows the media tricks, and he's been around generations of different media. So you're not going to be able to force, especially a guy like Floyd, you're not going to be able to force him and paint him into a corner into saying what you want. But anyway, the interviewer says, what do you think about, and I think this is just how I perceived it when I was listening to it. The interviewer seemed like it was like a scathing, like there's underlying tones there. He's basically saying, what do you think of Senator Pacquiao being 42 years old and he fighting a tough fight with Errol Spence, and you're 44 basically, and you're fighting Logan Paul? But I've seen a lot of people try to make this parallel and comparison. It's corny. Here's why it's corny. Because Floyd Mayweather, he already gave you a 22-year wonderful career of fighting the best versus the best. And a lot of you MFers didn't even appreciate it. When Floyd was around, you hated on him. You threw dirt on his name. You said he was boring. You said he was a runner. You said he was a coward. You said he was a cherry picker. You said he waited for people to get old until he finally wanted to fight him. And now you want the man to do something for you, which is not fight Logan Pauls of the world and take on whatever challenge you think. You know, a couple years ago, they wanted, when Triple G was being hyped up by HBO, they wanted Floyd to fight Triple G at 160. Floyd was the proven guy. Triple G was the guy at that point, especially, had no names on his resume. Floyd don't have to impress you by fighting Triple G. Triple G needed to fight someone, and as soon as he did, the knockout stopped. Funny how that works. But like Floyd said before, Triple G, he a cool little fighter. No special effects, right? There was no special effects there. So it's just ironic. People are like, oh, Floyd, why are you fighting? You're 44. Why are you fighting Logan Paul in the exhibition? But Julio Cesar Chavez is fighting in the exhibition. The guys, what people don't understand is no matter Floyd went out on top and no matter how good he is, if he could still compete, or you think he could still compete with the young hungry lions, he is a retired fighter and he's in the entertainment portion of his career. No different than Julio Cesar Chavez. You have a Mexican legend in Chavez Sr. who's fighting alongside his son Junior, and his son's fighting Anderson Spider Silva, which is really a weird combination, and he fighting Hector Camacho's son. And that's just what it is. A retired fighter making cash or doing it for charity or whatever they do it for, because they have fight in their blood or whatever drives them. For Floyd, he's like, man, I'm an entertainer. I could still entertain people. I could still physically get fit, and I could still put on a show. So a lot of people keep stressing this Pacquiao fighting Errol Spence. That's because he's still an active fighter. And furthermore, another reason why, before I move on, why that's a stupid comparison is Floyd fought Pacquiao himself and beat him. After all that time, y'all said that Floyd was going to lose to this man, and this was the end result. Pacquiao looked bad in the fight. He looked much better after this against guys like Tim Bradley III or guys like Keith Thurman or Broner, but this was when he fought Floyd. So you really got to cut Floyd slack. He don't have to do nothing for you. But Pacquiao isn't a great fight with Errol Spence, which is what you see in this video. And hell of a fight. Pacquiao, he's, fearless, fighting. Hey, stop that cat. Man down, big fish. Hey. From DeSoto, Texas, Errol Spence Jr., right? This is just a phenomenal fight, big time boxing. And people always ask me about like Logan Paul and Jake Paul and, fights like that. Bro, Lamar Odom is fighting a Backstreet Boys brother, Aaron Carter. I don't care about like the entertainment fights. That's cool. I just consider it novelty fights. And as long as I'm getting fights that I want to see as a real boxing head, like Gervonta Barrios, Errol Spence, and Pacquiao. I'm going to fight Errol Spence, right? I'm getting the Deontay Wilders from Tuscaloosa, Alabama versus Tyson Fury, and he's going to spill that, man. Then I'm cool with the novelty Floyd and Logan. Listen, if boxing was only Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul fights, then Houston, we have a problem. But that's not the case. Like I said, Pacquiao Spence, that's an amazing fight. Sign me up. Take my money. Great fight. Great fight for Pacquiao. But truth be told, Pacquiao should be fighting guys like this because the whole second part of his top rank career, he wasn't fighting guys like this. While Mayweather was, he wasn't. Now, Pacquiao in his totality, this is going to hurt and sting, but in his totality, he has a great resume because he has 70 plus fights. But on the back half of his top rank contract, he was fighting Jeff Horn and Jesse Vargas, right? Guys like Brandon Rios off a loss, Chris Algieri. So yeah, he should be fighting the Broners, Keith Thurmans, and Errol Spence's now, even though he's 42 or whatever age he is. Because guess what? When Pacquiao, people see, I love my channel and I love the creative control I have, and I love to remind y'all, in the words of Roy Jones Jr. the Great, y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot. So a lot of people saying, oh, why is Pacquiao, a couple years younger and he's fighting Errol Spence? He should be, because while Floyd was fighting the likes of Cotto and Maidana twice, Pacquiao was fighting Algieri, coming off a fight that you can even argue maybe he lost to Ruslan Provodnikov with top rank. So now he's just really playing catch up and fighting the fights that people were asking him, like Broner and Keith Thurman. They were asking Pacquiao to fight those fights then. Errol Spence and Broners and Thurman. But guess what? When he was with Top Rank towards the end, he wasn't fighting those types of people. So now that he's teamed with Al Heyman, and Pacquiao showing you how fearless he is, and he's a great fighter, and he's willing to risk it all. So that's great. But let's look at it. So he's fighting with Al Heyman, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, and Broner. And then after he left Top Rank, this was his like free agent fight, Lucas Matisse. So you could really say this stretch, Matisse, Broner, Keith Thurman, and now Errol Spence, those 4 fights are better than any 4 fights Pacquiao had in a row when he was at the back half of the Top Rank contract. You know, do I have to remind y'all? Look, so let's look at 4. Jeff Horn, Jesse Vargas, Bradley 3, which Bradley lost the first 2 fights. We didn't really need to see that. And then before that was Floyd Mayweather, you know? So it's like, look at who he was fighting. Let's look at, okay, Floyd Mayweather, that's a great fight. No, I already went over Floyd. So let's say his other 4. Chris Algieri, Bradley 2, and he really didn't lose the first fight. And then Brandon Rios. And then before that, he got knocked out by Marquez. So look, these are the types of people he was fighting. So yeah, I don't have a problem with Spence and Pacquiao. But back to the title of the video, you guys heard it. I mean, I don't really have to say too much on that. Floyd said he's gonna phone up. He said he's going with his people. He's American, he's a black man. And he said he rocking with Errol Spence. Errol Spence has been in his camp before. And he put a lot of people on to Errol Spence because when the culture heard the cosign about this kid from Texas, they were like, who is that? You know, did he give you a black eye? Like, damn, okay. And Floyd's credentials and Floyd vouching for Errol Spence didn't give Errol Spence the talent, but it gave him the notoriety because the culture all deals with Floyd and knows Floyd. And if he co-signing you, we were like, okay, this kid got to be real. So I like this. This is great synergy. Hopefully Errol Spence is receptive to it. I don't know his relationship with Floyd personally, but hopefully he accepts the call and lets Floyd give him intel or whatever advice, and hopefully he hears him out because it's a big fight for Errol Spence. Very big, you know? And the other thing is, a lot of y'all like a bunch of clown stuff in boxing, but I'm from the old school, so not me. Oh, he blinged out right there. Oh, he drippy out there. Floyd Mayweather, this is what I never understood about boxing. Floyd gonna get hate because he said he gonna help Errol Spence basically defeat Pacquiao and he's gonna give him pointers. But he's the man that, as I just showed you, really did that and really beat Pacquiao. Because in boxing, sometimes you got guys who claim they're gonna give you the blueprint to beat a person, and then they can't even beat the person, which that makes even less sense. Like De La Hoya, he said he was gonna give Canelo and Victor Ortiz the blueprint to beat Floyd Mayweather, but he ain't even beat Floyd Mayweather. So that's kind of weird, you know? You're gonna give Victor Ortiz, who had mental lapses, the blueprint to beat, because he was a Golden Boy fighter, the blueprint to beat Floyd, and you ain't even beat Floyd. You're gonna give Canelo, I was born ready, right? Payday, you want payday, I know that. Like, you're gonna give Canelo the blueprint to beat Floyd, and Oscar himself didn't beat Floyd. Oscar didn't even beat addiction. He looked like he turned up right now, right? Recently, another Golden Boy fighter, Ryan Garcia, he said he backing Logan Paul to beat Floyd. Like, Ryan Garcia, I don't know anyone in the building that would pick Ryan Garcia, even at this age, to beat Floyd Mayweather in a fight. So how are you gonna give Logan Paul, you know, you could co-sign and be friends with him, but how you gonna give him the blueprint to beat Floyd and you couldn't even beat Floyd? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. But when Mayweather said he gonna give Errol Spence, he limited this man Pacquiao to 71 punches and shoulder excuses. My shoulder, I have to go swim in the Pacific Ocean because salt water in my shoulder. Bro, he beat the man. And Pacquiao was making excuses. So if anybody could give Errol Spence pointers, Floyd tamed Pacquiao. He did get clipped. He got hurt by Pacquiao maybe once or twice in there. But that's champion stuff. Champions do what champions do. And he thoroughly and convincingly beat. That's why the world was saying it was a dark day for boxing, and, you know, the fight that disappointed, because Floyd Mayweather, after years of debating and debacle and quarrels online, he was too much for Pacquiao. So I can't wait to see what's next. Floyd said he's gonna give the blueprint to Errol on how to beat the man Pacquiao. And if anyone could do it, it's definitely him, because he did it. He beat Pacquiao. Look at these pictures, bro. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Use my link in the description to get TUBEBUDDY. I promise you, 2021, I'm working. We working. Yeah. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TUBEBUDDY. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.